There are those who walk through life untouched, not because they are cold, not because they do not feel, but because they understand something most people never will. Nothing can affect you unless you allow it to. Most people live as if they are at the mercy of the world. A single word can ruin their day. A glance from a stranger can shatter their confidence. An unexpected event can send them spiraling. They hand over their peace so easily as if it were never theirs to begin with. But what if you could be different? What if, no matter what happened, insults, failures, betrayals, you remained still, untouched, unmoved, free? Carl Jung believed that people are not shaped by external events, but by their reactions to them. He said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." This means that most suffering is not caused by the world itself, but by the meanings we attach to it. Think about it. The same words that hurt one person may mean nothing to another. The same setback that destroys one individual might inspire another to rise. It is never about what happens. It is about what happens within you. Most people run from their triggers. They distract themselves, blame others, or suppress their emotions. But those who awaken, who truly see, understand that every trigger is a doorway to freedom. Because once you stop reacting, you stop being controlled. You become untouchable, not indifferent, not detached in a cold, unfeeling way, but free. Free from needing approval, free from fearing judgment, free from the illusion that the world can take something from you that was never outside of you to begin with. This journey is not about forcing yourself to be strong. It is about seeing clearly, about realizing that control was never out there. It was always within. And once you master yourself, no person, no event, no force in this world will ever shake you again. Most people live as if they are tied to the world by invisible strings. A single word pulls at their emotions. A small event shifts their entire mood. A minor inconvenience ruins their entire day. They do not realize they are puppets, controlled not by their own will, but by everything outside of them. But what if you could cut those strings? What if no one's opinion could shake your confidence? What if no failure could define your worth? What if no rejection, no insult, no moment of misfortune could disrupt your inner peace? This is the art of detachment. Most people misunderstand detachment. They believe it means shutting down, suppressing emotions, or becoming indifferent to life. But true detachment is not about feeling less. It is about feeling fully, without being consumed. It is the ability to experience life without clinging, without resisting, without being thrown off balance. Picture a mountain. No matter how strong the winds blow, no matter how heavy the storms rage, the mountain remains. It does not fight the storm, nor does it fear it. It simply stands. This is what it means to be truly untouchable, to live as the mountain instead of being tossed around like a leaf in the wind. So how do we achieve this? How do we stop letting the world control us? First, we must understand one simple truth. Nothing has power over you unless you give it permission. Think about it. Someone insults you and you feel hurt. But why? Because some part of you believes them. Because some part of you still seeks validation from others. But if you truly knew your worth, if you had no doubt about who you were, would their words matter at all? Number, they would pass through you like wind through the trees. This is why people react differently to the same situation. One person hears criticism and feels destroyed. Another hears the same words and feels nothing. The difference is not in the words, it is in what is within them. Most people go through life trying to avoid discomfort. They avoid criticism, rejection, failure. They try to control their environment, their relationships, the way people see them. But in doing so, they remain prisoners, slaves to the need for external validation, for approval, for certainty. But the moment you stop trying to control everything, you become free. The moment you stop seeking validation, you gain confidence. The moment you stop fearing discomfort, nothing can hurt you anymore. Detachment is not about avoiding life. It is about embracing it fully, without resistance. It is about understanding that you are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are not your circumstances. You are the observer, the one who watches. And the moment you step back, the moment you see this clearly, everything changes. Imagine walking through a storm, yet remaining dry. Imagine standing in the fire, yet feeling no pain. Imagine moving through life with absolute stillness, absolute clarity, no longer reacting, only choosing. This is what is possible. This is the art of detachment. Everything you experience in the outside world is a reflection of your inner world. This is a truth many resist, yet it is the key to absolute freedom. When you feel anger at someone's words, that anger is not about them. It is about you. When you feel abandoned, betrayed, or unworthy, those feelings existed within you long before the situation occurred. The world does not create these emotions. It only reveals them. Carl Jung once said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves." Think about this carefully. The things that trigger you, that unsettle you, that make you react. These are not coincidences. They are mirrors, showing you the places within yourself that still need healing. Most people spend their lives running from these reflections. They blame others for their suffering. They try to change the world instead of looking inward. But this is an illusion. The problem is never out there. The problem and the solution have always been inside you. Consider this. Two people hear the same insult. One laughs, the other is deeply hurt. The words were the same, but the reactions were different. Why? Because one person had nothing inside them for the insult to attach to, the other did. A person who is secure in their intelligence will not be offended if someone calls them stupid. A person who is confident in their worth will not crumble if someone rejects them. But if you react strongly to something, it is because some part of you believes it. This is where real self-mastery begins. Not in avoiding negative experiences, not in silencing emotions, but in using every reaction as a guide, a signal that points you toward the parts of yourself that need to be understood and healed. So the next time you feel anger, insecurity, or pain, do not look outward. Do not seek to change the person who caused it. Instead, ask yourself, why does this affect me? What belief am I holding that allows this to have power over me? Because here is the truth. Nothing outside of you has meaning except the meaning you give it. The world is neutral. Events happen. People speak. Life unfolds. It is your mind that creates the interpretation. And the moment you realize this, you reclaim your power. Jung spoke of the shadow, the hidden parts of ourselves that we suppress, deny, or refuse to acknowledge. When you see qualities in others that deeply disturb you, it is often because they reflect an unrecognized part of yourself. The person who annoys you most may embody traits you reject within. The person you envy may reflect a potential you have ignored. The situations that keep repeating in your life, conflicts, failures, disappointments, may not be accidents. They may be patterns, mirrors, showing you what still needs to be addressed. But here is the most powerful part of this truth. Once you change what is inside you, the world outside you changes as well. When you heal insecurity, criticism no longer affects you. When you release attachment, loss no longer devastates you. When you stop seeking approval, rejection no longer wounds you. This is how you become untouchable, not by controlling the world, but by mastering yourself. The world will always be a mirror. The only question is whether you will use it to see yourself clearly or continue to run from your reflection. The world is not what it seems. Most people believe their emotions are caused by the outside world, by the words of others, by unfair circumstances, by the unpredictability of life. They believe that if only people were kinder, if only situations were different, they would finally find peace. But this is an illusion. No event, no person, no situation has the power to create an emotion within you. It only awakens what was already there. Think of a wound. If someone touches unbroken skin, you feel nothing. But if the skin is open, even the lightest touch can cause immense pain. The pain is not from the touch itself. It is from the wound that already existed. Now, apply this to your emotions. Someone insults you, and rage rises within you. Someone ignores you, and you feel unworthy. Someone succeeds where you have failed, and jealousy takes over. You blame them. You think it was their words, their actions, their success that caused your suffering. But the truth is, they only pressed on a wound that was already there. This is why two people can experience the exact same situation and react completely differently. It is never about what happens. It is about what is within you. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." Your triggers are not accidents. They are teachers. They reveal the places where you are still wounded, where you are still controlled, where you are still asleep. But most people do not want to see this. Instead of looking inward, they try to control the world. They demand that others be more careful with their words. They avoid difficult situations. They build walls around themselves to keep out anything that might cause discomfort. But avoidance is not healing. It is only postponing the lesson. The world will never stop triggering you. People will always say things you don't like. Life will always present situations that challenge you. You cannot change this, but you can change how you respond. The next time you feel anger, jealousy, fear, or insecurity, stop. Do not react. Do not justify it. Just notice. Observe the emotion as if you were watching it happen to someone else. Where do you feel it in your body? Does your chest tighten? Do your hands clench? Does your stomach sink? Feel it fully without running from it. This simple act of observation creates space, and in that space, you reclaim control. Now ask yourself, why does this affect me? Go beyond the surface. If someone's success makes you feel small, ask, what belief am I holding that makes me feel like their success takes away from mine? If someone's rejection makes you feel unworthy, ask, why do I believe my worth is determined by someone else's perception? Every trigger is rooted in a belief, and most of these beliefs were not chosen by you. They were given to you by society, by childhood experiences, by years of conditioning. but you do not have to keep them. Once you see the belief behind the trigger, it begins to lose its power. You realize that the anger, the insecurity, the pain, it was never about the world. It was only ever about the meaning you attached to it. And once you remove the meaning, the trigger dissolves. The insult no longer stings. The rejection no longer wounds. The failure no longer defines you. You become untouchable. This is not a quick process. It is a practice, a mastery. But every time you catch yourself before reacting, every time you question instead of blame, every time you dissolve a trigger instead of avoiding it, you take back your power. And one day, you will wake up and realize that nothing, no person, no event, no force outside of you has control over your peace. That is the day you become truly free. There is a space within you that nothing can touch. Beneath the noise of the world, beneath the chaos of your mind, beneath the storm of emotions, there is silence. A silence so deep, so vast, that it holds everything, yet needs nothing. Most people never reach this place. They are trapped in the mind's endless chatter, pulled by every passing thought, caught in the web of their own reactions. They believe peace comes from fixing the world around them, from making others behave a certain way, from forcing life into submission. But true power, true mastery, is not found in controlling the world. It is found in the ability to remain silent, even as the storm rages around you. Everything in life fights for your attention. Social media, the news, the expectations of others, the fears you carry. They pull at you, whispering that you must react, you must worry, you must control. But what if you didn't? What if you simply let it pass? Imagine standing on the edge of a highway watching the cars race by. This is how most people live, chasing every thought, every worry, every impulse as if it were urgent, as if it were real. But you are not the traffic. You are the one watching. And when you realize this, something incredible happens. The noise begins to lose its power. The greatest strength is not found in the ability to speak. It is found in the ability to remain silent. Not silence as in the absence of sound, but silence as in the absence of need, the absence of reaction, the absence of attachment. The moment you stop feeding the noise, it fades. The moment you stop defending yourself, you become untouchable. The moment you stop chasing validation, you become free. Most people do not understand this. They believe that by arguing, by proving, by fighting, they are gaining power. But power is never in the reaction. It is in the ability to not react. When someone insults you, remain silent. Not out of weakness, but out of strength. Let them wrestle with their own words, their own projections. Watch how quickly they lose their power. When life throws uncertainty at you, do not panic. Do not run. Just sit with it. Feel it. Let it pass. Because everything does pass. The mind is like a storm. It comes and goes, but you are the sky. The sky does not chase the clouds. The sky does not fight the storm. The sky remains unmoved, unchanged. This is not just philosophy. It is neuroscience. Studies show that the more we engage with stress, the more we feed it. The more we chase thoughts, the stronger they become. But when we step back, when we observe instead of react, the brain begins to rewire itself. Silence is not just peace, it is power. Most people search for this peace in the wrong places. They think it will come from success, from love, from security. But true peace is not found in addition. It is found in subtraction, not in more, but in less. less attachment, less resistance, less noise. And when you finally let go, when you allow the silence to rise from within you, you will realize something profound. You were never the storm. You were always the sky. There is a state beyond fear, beyond anger, beyond insecurity, beyond the fragile need for control. It is a state of absolute stillness, where nothing can shake you, nothing can break you, and nothing can pull you away from yourself. Most people spend their entire lives chasing external strength. They want power over others, power over circumstances, power over the future. But true power, the kind that cannot be taken away, is the power over yourself. When you reach this state, you do not need to escape anything. You do not need to run from discomfort. You do not need to avoid difficult people or control the chaos around you. You simply remain unmoved, not numb, not detached, but completely free. Think of a mountain. Winds can howl, storms can rage, the seasons can change, but the mountain remains. It does not fight the weather. It does not resist the storm. It simply exists, solid, grounded, immovable. This is what it means to become untouchable, to remain centered in chaos, to remain calm in conflict, to remain fearless in uncertainty. Most people believe their emotions control them, but the truth is, emotions are only powerful when you fight them. The moment you stop resisting, when you stop running from pain, stop avoiding discomfort, stop fearing fear itself, everything begins to shift. Imagine you are standing in a river. The current is strong, the water is cold, and the more you fight against it, the more exhausted you become. But what happens when you stop struggling? The moment you let go, the river no longer controls you. You float, you adapt, you move effortlessly with the current instead of against it. This is how true strength works. You do not need to force confidence. You do not need to chase control. You do not need to prove anything to anyone. You simply need to stop reacting. Most people will never reach this level of freedom because they are too afraid to let go. They are too attached to their illusions, too invested in their suffering, too identified with their thoughts. But you are not like most people, because if you were, you would not be here. You would not be seeking this knowledge. You would not be questioning your reality. You would not be searching for a way to become something more. And so, the path is clear. Observe instead of reacting. Accept instead of resisting. Detach instead of clinging. When you stop giving energy to the things that disturb you, they lose their power over you. When you stop feeding the fire of your suffering, it burns out. And when there is nothing left to disturb your peace, you become untouchable. You were never meant to be controlled by this world, not by people, not by circumstances, not by your own thoughts. You were meant to rise above it, to transcend the noise, to stand still while everything moves around you, to see life for what it truly is. A passing wave, a fleeting moment, a dream that only has power if you give it power. Nothing outside of you can ever define you, not failure, not rejection, not loss. The only thing that matters, the only thing that has ever mattered, is how deeply you know yourself. Once you understand this, life no longer happens to you, it happens through you. Nothing is personal, nothing is permanent, nothing is worth your peace. So let go. Let go of the need to control. Let go of the fear of the unknown. Let go of everything that keeps you trapped in the illusion of suffering, and simply be.